Hi, fifth grade. Today's math lesson is lesson 3.8, which is over fraction word problems. So we're going to do some more practice today with solving some word problems, but also we're going to keep reviewing those skills like we were yesterday. Adding, subtracting, multiplying fractions, and today they're even going to throw in comparing fractions, which we also already know how to do. So again, it's kind of a review. We're just making sure we understand all of those fraction skills that we've learned so far, because next week we're going to touch on how to divide fractions, but we want to make sure we're really good at these first. So let's start with number 1. This is called a fraction box, and a fraction box gives me two fractions at the top, and then it gives me 4 things to do with them. This means to compare them. Remember the alligator mouth? I'm going to add them, subtract them, and then I have a dot. What does a dot mean? To multiply them. Anytime I have a fraction box, we always want to start with multiplication because we can just use these fractions right here and multiply them. So let's start with the bottom. I'm going to copy down my fractions, 2/5 times 7/10. If I can simplify, I want to because that will make it easier. So I'm going to look 5 and 7. Is there anything that will go into both 5 and 7? Nope. So check the other way. 2 and 10. Anything that will go into 2 and 10? Yeah, 2 will. How many 2's will fit in 2? That is 1. How many 2's will fit in 10? That's 5. Now I'm ready to multiply. Remember, straight across the top, straight across the bottom. 1 times 7 is 7, and straight across the bottom, 5 times 5 is 25. So my answer here would be 7/25. Then we are ready to compare, add, and subtract. However, in order to do any of these things, my bottom numbers have to be the same. And are they the same right now? No. How am I going to get those bottom numbers to be the same? Cross multiplying. So I'm going to do that over here out of the way to get my new fractions that have the same bottom number. So let's go this way first. 5 times 7 is 35. Then we'll go this way. 10 times 2 is 20. And to get my bottom number, 5 times 10 is 50. So now I have my new fractions that have the same bottom number, and I'm going to use those for the rest of these things in my fraction box. So first, let's compare. I'm going to copy down my new fractions, 20/50. I'm going to leave a space in the middle, 35/50. And we are comparing, so we want an alligator mouth. Which one of those is bigger? The 35. So my alligator mouth is going to go that way, and I like to circle it too. Okay, now it wants me to add those. So use those new fractions again so that the bottom numbers are the same, and we're going to add them. So 20/50 plus 35/50. What does that give me? 55/50. And as I'm circling that, because that's worth a point, I notice that it's improper. So I need to divide it to fix it. 55 divided by 50. That will go in there 1 time. When I subtract, I get a 5, so I have remainder 5. And I turn that into a mixed number, 1 and 5/50. That one would be worth 2 points because I have improper and mixed number. And finally, it wants me to subtract them. Now, when I subtract, I have to put them in the right order. So I need to put the big one and then the small one. So I have to kind of switch it around. 35/50 minus 20/50. And what does that give me? 15/50. Okay, so I'm just using those fractions to do all of those things in the box. Remember, you want to do multiplication first because you don't need to cross multiply before you can do that. So do that, then cross multiply and use your new fractions for the rest of the things in your fraction box. All right, also today we're working on word problems. And today when you're doing your word problems, these 4 things are your choices. So you're either going to be comparing the things in the word problem, adding them, subtracting them, or multiplying them. You just have to look for your keywords and decide which one of those things you need to do to get the answer. So number 2 says, yesterday Mr. Swenson made 2 3/4 quarts of strawberry jam and 1 1/8 quarts of raspberry jam. How much more strawberry jam did he make than raspberry? I want to know how much more is this than this. So I'm going to subtract. Stacking them up, 2 3/4 minus 1 1/8. Then I always want to start with my fractions. And when I go to subtract these fractions, I'm going to notice something. Those bottom numbers are not the same. I have to fix that first. So I'm going to copy them over here, just my fractions, and I'm going to cross multiply those because that's how I get the bottom numbers to be the same. I'm just going to do this real quick. We know how to cross multiply. Alrighty, once I have my new fractions, I'm going to come back to my original problem and I'm going to replace them. So cross out 3/4. What did he become? 24 32nds. Cross out 1/8. He became 4 32nds. And now that everything matches, now I can actually subtract. So 24 minus 4 gives me 20 32nds. And then my big numbers, 2 minus 1 is 1. So I got 1 and 20 32nds. And my label would be quarts because that is how they're measuring the jam or the jelly. Been a while since we've done that, so don't forget about how to do that. Let's look at number 3. Today, Mr. Swinson is making 2/5 quarts of grape jelly. He will give 1/2 of this amount to his neighbor. How much jelly will the neighbor get? You notice I said of really loud because that's my key word. What does it mean when I see the word of? Multiply. So we are doing 2/5 times 1/2. If we can simplify, we want to, so let's check. Can we do anything with 1 and 5? No, but what about 2 and 2? Yeah, 2 will go into both of those, so both of these are going to change to a 1. All right, go across the top. 1 times 1 is 1. Across the bottom, 5 times 1 is 5. And I need a label. How is he measuring his jams and jellies? Quarts. 1/5 quarts. Alrighty, number 4, last one, and then you can start on your assignment. Mr. Swinson is also making 2 1/6 quarts of cherry jelly and 3 1/12 quarts of orange jelly. He will mix the 2 kinds together. How much of this mixed jelly will he have? Together. What am I going to do if he's going to mix 2 things together? I'm going to add those. So I'm going to stack them up over here. 2 1/6 and 3 1/12. Remember, I always start with my fractions, and when I go to add those, I'm noticing what? My bottom numbers are not the same, so I need to cross multiply those. Copy down those fractions over here, and let's cross multiply them. That would be a 6. That would be a 12. My bottom number would be a 72. Alrighty, now I'm going to go back to my original problem. Cross out my 1/6. What did we change him to? 12 72nds. Cross out my 1/12. What did we change him to? 6 72nds. Now we all match and we're ready to add up. 12 plus 6 is 18 72nds. And I add my big numbers, which gives me a 5. So we got 5 and 18 72nds. And my label is still going to be quarts. Don't forget those labels on word problems. Very, very important because they are worth points. Alrighty, make sure on your assignment you really look for keywords so that you know, are you comparing them, adding them, subtracting them, or multiplying them? Those are your 4 choices today. Don't forget those labels. Do your very best. Bye.